Chiefs Kingdom, we finally have a big update on Rashee Rice. And this is one of those stories that changes how people see the Kansas City Chiefs going into next season. Based on the report you shared, the NFL has now finished its investigation into the domestic violence claims from earlier this year and has said Rice did not break the league's personal conduct rules. That means he is not getting any punishment right now. And from a football view, this is very big news for the Chiefs. When this story first came out, it put a huge shadow over everything because when a player is dealing with an off-field issue like that, it affects the player, the team, the front office, and even the fans. So the first thing to say is simple. This removes the biggest doubt about his future. And from the Chiefs' side, that matters right away. Because now, instead of worrying if Rice might miss games because of league punishment, Kansas City can focus on football. That does not mean the situation is fully forgotten, and it does not mean anyone should ignore how serious the claims were. But it does mean the league has finished looking into it, and for now, Rice is not getting suspended. That is huge news for a team that already has a lot to think about when building around Patrick Mahomes and trying to keep the offense strong. This also changes how Chiefs fans should look at the wide receiver group because now Rice is seen more like a player and less like a question mark from an investigation. So here is the main point. The Chiefs can finally move forward with clear thinking. There is no longer that fear of another off-field punishment hanging over Rice. And that will matter in every talk about his role, his value, and his future in Kansas City. Now, the only real question is football. Can he return to the level he showed before? Can he turn this fresh start into a big season? And can he prove he belongs in the long-term plans of this team? Chiefs Kingdom, give me your one-word reaction to this news and tell me yes or no. Does this change everything for Rashee Rice in Kansas City? Now that Rashee Rice has officially been cleared, the talk quickly moves to what this means for the Chiefs' offseason plans. And this is where it gets really interesting for you as a fan. Because just a few weeks ago, wide receiver felt like a position Kansas City might strongly target early in the draft or keep adding to in free agency. Not because the group had no talent, but because there was doubt. And in the NFL, teams hate doubt more than almost anything. But now that doubt has been reduced a lot. Think about it from the view of Andy Reid and Brett Veach. When you are building a team, especially around a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, you need to know who you can trust. And before this investigation ended, there was always that question. What if Rice gets suspended again? What if the situation continues into the season? What if we cannot depend on him for the whole year? Those are the kinds of questions that push teams to spend big resources just to protect themselves. But now, based on what we know today, that risk is gone. And that could explain something we have been hearing recently. Both Reid and Veach have shown confidence in their current wide receiver group. That stood out, especially when many fans, maybe even you, thought wide receivers should be a top priority. But when the people inside the team speak with that kind of confidence, it usually means they know something we do not. And in this case, maybe they had a better idea of how the investigation was going. Maybe they felt sure Rice would be available, and that belief shaped their whole offseason plan. Now, does this mean the Chiefs will not draft a wide receiver early? Not really. This is still the NFL draft, and we all know how unpredictable it can be. If the right player is there, they could still pick him, but the pressure may not be as strong anymore. Instead of drafting out of fear or need, they can draft based on value. That is a big difference, and it is how smart teams stay strong year after year. It gives them flexibility, and flexibility is very important when trying to build a Super Bowl team. The other big part of this situation is the contract talk. Before today, it was almost impossible to think about giving Rashee Rice a contract extension. There was too much risk. You cannot give big money to a player when you are unsure about off-field issues. But now that door is at least open again, not fully open, not guaranteed, but open. The Chiefs can now say, let's see what you do this season. They can judge him based on performance, consistency, and availability instead of worrying about off-field problems. And that changes everything for everyone. For the Chiefs, it means they might have another long-term player at an important position. For Rice, it means the chance is right in front of him. This is his moment to reset everything and prove he can be trusted, productive, and worth investing in. Chiefs Kingdom, I want your opinion on this. Should the Chiefs still draft a wide receiver early? Yes or no? And don't forget, if you like this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 7,000 subscribers, and thank you to everyone using super thanks to support the channel. Now, this is where things get serious because even with Rashee Rice cleared, nothing is guaranteed for him going forward. And if you are being honest as a Chiefs fan, this is the most important part. The off-field issue is gone for now, but the on-field expectations are now higher than ever because this is no longer about potential or small flashes. This is about proving every single week that he can be the guy for this offense. You have already seen what he can do at his best. There were times when he looked like a real game changer. A player Patrick Mahomes could trust in big moments. The kind of receiver who can turn short passes into big plays, move the chains, and be a steady option in a powerful offense. But the problem is it has not been consistent enough, and staying available has been a real issue. Between the suspension and everything else last season, Rice missed important time. And in the NFL, especially on a team like Kansas City, missing time means missing chances. That is why this next season is so important. This is not just another year for Rashee Rice. This is a prove-it year in every way because now there are no excuses. There is no investigation. There is no possible suspension coming. There is nothing stopping him from going out and showing exactly who he is as a player. And when you are playing with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, the expectations are even higher because the chance is right there every game. And let's talk about that connection for a moment. For any receiver in Kansas City, building chemistry with Mahomes is everything. We have seen it before. When he trusts you, he throws you the ball. When he does not, your role can disappear quickly. Rice has already shown signs of earning that trust. But now he must take the next step. He must become someone Mahomes looks for in big moments, not just sometimes, but all the time. That is the difference between being a good player and being a key part of the offense. And then there is the money side of things, because if Rice wants a big contract extension, the kind top receivers are getting today, he must deliver a full season of strong play. Not just moments, a full season. He needs to stay available, he needs to be efficient, and he needs to make an impact that cannot be ignored because, as we have seen with Brett Veach, loyalty only goes so far. If a player does not meet expectations, and the Chiefs will move on and find someone else. So this is the truth. Rashee Rice has been given a clean slate, at least by the league. But what he does with that chance is fully up to him. He can turn this into something long-term in Kansas City, or he can leave the door open for the Chiefs to look for other options. And with how competitive this team is and how fast things change in the NFL, that decision could come sooner than you think. Let me ask you this, Chiefs Kingdom. Do you believe Rashee Rice can become Patrick Mahomes' #1 receiver this season? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments. And quickly, if you like this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 7,000 subscribers, and thank you to everyone using super thanks to support the channel. So when you step back and look at the bigger picture, this news about Rashee Rice is not just about one player being cleared. It is about what this means for the whole direction of the Kansas City Chiefs going into the season. Because for a while, it felt like this situation was hanging over everything. It affected how you saw the receiver group, how you thought about the draft, and how confident you felt about the offense overall. And now, just like that, there is clarity again. And clarity is very powerful in the NFL. It helps teams focus, it helps players prepare without distractions. And for you as a fan, it gives you a clear idea of what this team could look like when everything is working well. Because if Rashee Rice enters this season fully focused, fully available, and ready to perform, it raises the level of this offense. It gives Patrick Mahomes another weapon he can trust. And it reduces pressure on the rest of the group. That is how offenses go from good to dangerous. But at the same time, this is not a guarantee of anything. The Chiefs will still review everything. They'll expect consistency, professionalism, and strong performance, and if Rice does not meet that level, they will not hesitate to make changes. That is how this team works. They always think about the future and how to stay on top. And that means making tough choices when needed. What this situation really shows is an opportunity for Rice. It is his chance to change the story, move past everything, and show he can be the player and person this team needs. For the Chiefs, it is a chance to secure an important position without spending big resources somewhere else. And for you as a fan, it is a chance to watch how it all plays out, knowing the pressure is very high. Because if this works, if Rice has a breakout, steady, high-level season, then you are talking about a player who could be part of this team for a long time. You are talking about someone who could grow with Patrick Mahomes and be part of the next chapter of Chiefs football. But if it does not work, then this could be his last real chance in Kansas City. That is how small the margin is in this league. So now it comes down to one thing: performance. The distractions are gone, the doubt is gone, the chance is right there. And what happens next will tell you everything about Rashee Rice and his future with this team. Chiefs Kingdom, think about this and be honest. If Rashee Rice goes out and has a big, steady season, would you give him a contract extension? Drop your answer in the comments. And don't forget, subscribe to help us reach 7,000 subscribers. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. And a big thank you to everyone using Super Thanks to support the channel. It really makes a difference.